Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Bad Times Good Stories podcast. My name is Joe Flanders, and by God, I hope you're having a lovely day. I know I am. It's a nice, refreshing 98 degrees right now. Air conditioning's not working. But hey, other than that, everything's fine. So, been taking a lot of cold showers. Today on the show is comedian Heather Winter, who has appeared on Average Joe and someone that I've known for a couple of years. And when I asked if she wanted to come on, she said yes, and she wanted to talk about her partying ways and the ridiculous and painful and odd circumstances that her partying has gotten her into. So we talk about that. We also talk about dating etiquette, specifically dick pic etiquette. Very enlightening conversation. So it was great talking with Heather. I hope you enjoy it. As always, you can check out badtimesgoodstoriespod.com, where you can listen to past episodes. Check out the merch. We got some t-shirts, tote bags, coffee mugs, all sorts of awesome stuff. And there's also a link to my Patreon page, so you can support me making the show if you happen to enjoy listening to this and you would like to do that. So thank you to everyone currently supporting on Patreon. Check it out, and you can see the different tiers and rewards I have should you choose to donate. You can also email me at badtimesgoodstoriespodcast@gmail.com and share an awkward or embarrassing story that you've been through, and I could read it on the air. I appreciate reading your emails, so send them my way. And now, without further ado, here's my conversation with Heather Winter. What'd you have for breakfast today?
I had a bowl of cereal.
What kind?
Cheerios. Yeah.
Me
well,
too.
I mixed it though. I did Honey Oats and Frosted Cheerios.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm 5 years old. So, yeah.
The regular Cheerios are just too bland for you?
You know what? I was saving them for I don't know what. I got like one of those 8-pack cereal boxes like
Sure.
moms do for their children.
Wait, like the little ones?
Yeah.
I loved those.
Well, they weren't, you know what threw me off though is they weren't in the boxes like they classically are.
Really?
They were in bags. And so I looked at the bag and I was like, that's not enough cereal for me.
No.
You know, I was like, I need more than that. So I doubled up and then.
In a way, though, the bag is the more honest choice from like a distributing standpoint.
Yeah.
Because the box, it always seems like there's more in there than there is.
But you could also eat it out of the box.
Wait, would you pour milk into the box?
Yeah, you can do that. That's why it had the package in there. Don't tell me you've never done that.
No.
What? Especially being from Ohio, that's like what we do. You know, we have to save this stuff.
Aren't the boxes cardboard? How does it not come out?
Plastic inside.
Dude, you're blowing my mind.
Wow. Now I'm upset I didn't bring one for you. Jeez, I didn't know you didn't know that.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there was even like perforated marks for you to open it up in the middle and just go dive right in. Man. Yeah.
I mean, I got to go buy some.
I know. Well, good luck. They probably only have bags now. So you missed out on
Damn
that.
it.
Yeah.
I had all those years to do it.
You missed the bandwagon. It's gone.
Were you were you nursing a hangover with this breakfast?
No, unfortunately. I know.
That's good.
I know. I worked last night, so I didn't get off until like 1, and I wanted to drink. But the only person that would drink with me is my friend that got off at the same time, and she didn't want to. And so I was like, okay, well. Okay.
So I'm glad I don't have to start this podcast with saying that you may have a problem. Because you're not drinking by yourself.
I do drink by myself.
Okay. Heather, you may have a problem.
I just didn't have time to get anything last night. That was my problem. I have no problem drinking alone. That's not the issue. The issue is that I wasn't able to go buy it. I got off work. I was tired. I was like, and nobody wanted to go drink with me. And I was like, that's okay. But then I almost went to the store and I was like, you know what? I probably have booze at home. And then I got home and then I got high and then I forgot.
Oh. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I know. It's one or the other. You know what I mean? I've got my vices.
Well, I guess that's my trademarked segue into why you're here.
Yeah.
You may have not drank last night, but apparently you do enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
Have there been any ramifications to your partying ways?
Oh, yeah. I mean, plenty. It's funny because I drank a lot in high school, and yeah, I'll get to that here in a second about that. But I drank, and then I went to college, and I was like, ugh, I drink so much, so I'll drink a little bit.
Right. And
then I kind of started climbing that ladder again. Then I turned 30, and that's where I was just like, well, I'm 21 again, so I'm just gonna get fucked up all the time.
So it peaked back up at 30?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so your 20s, you're just like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I drank, I partied and probably got into trouble. But then I turned 30 in February and I don't think I've had maybe 4 sober days since I've turned 30. And I drink a lot. I have no limits anymore.
Were you just not expecting to make it to 30, so now everything's gravy? You're just like, sure.
I expected once I hit 30 that I was going to be like, I don't want to party anymore.
Right.
I thought it was going to be done and over with. And I'm like, no.
Why is that? Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I thought maybe I was going to be an adult,
right.
know?
But why did you make the choice that you have?
It's became almost where you said, almost like a problem, where I fiend for it now. And I'm
right.
I haven't had a beer in a while, so I guess I need one, and then I'm just so now I go to Trader Joe's and you can create your own
Good times?
6-pack.
Oh, okay.
Well, and I've decided that instead of buying the 6-pack, I only buy a certain amount of beers.
Yeah.
Because if I buy the 6-pack, I'll finish it.
Right.
So
okay.
This is how you adult.
Right.
You buy as many as what you need to drink.
Exactly, and no more.
And then I finished the 3, and I'm pissed that I didn't get all 6. So that's my downfall right now. Is I'm trying to limit it, but it's not happening.
There's no judgment, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
No. So
you're lucky this is an alcohol right here. I thought about it actually. I was like, does 7-Eleven sell Baileys? And I don't think they do. They didn't.
To be honest, I don't know what's in that cup. So
you don't know what's in it. Yeah. It is off the record. It is coffee, but on the record, who knows?
What flavor did you get?
Hazelnut.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's the only.
I can't do the flavors. I'm just so boring.
It's just I like my coffee black, I like my men, but
sure.
I love the hazelnut. Just because I don't have to put anything in it.
Right.
Because it's still technically black.
Right.
Just with hazelnut flavor.
Yeah. So, just a little dash of hazel.
Yeah. I get a little crazy.
All right.
Well,
that's good.
Yeah. This is how hardcore I am. I drink black coffee, I drink whiskey, and I drink beer. I'm like a dude, but in a female's body.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is why I'm single, because men are intimidated to drink with me.
Have you seen that moment when you are out with a new guy and they have that realization?
Oh yeah, every time. They're like, what do you drink? I'm like, whiskey on the rocks. They're like, fuck.
Nope. They're expected apple tea or whatever.
Yeah, a glass of Riesling, please. No. It's whiskey on the rocks. If it's because I won't drink beer because I'll get gassy on beer. I'll just be like whiskey on the rocks. I'm like, oh Jesus.
Sure.
And then they order a Bud Light and they feel like pussies,
Yeah.
And I'm like, you are, so it's fine. And I have 8 whiskeys and they have 2 Bud Lights. They're tanked. I'm not. And yeah, I just haven't found that one guy, that can match up with me on that level.
That's when you know there's true love.
I know.
You just split a bottle half and half.
And we're both still fine.
Yeah.
And then we talk about, that's, you know what? I took a quiz once that said at 42, I'm going to meet my soulmate. So I've got 12 years left. I've got 12 years of soul searching right now. So, but yeah, so, obviously my drinking started early.
Okay.
At 5 years old. Yeah. I was 5 on vacation in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina with my family.
Oh, you were there with your family? You didn't go by yourself?
No, okay. no, not at 5. Maybe 6 I went, but 5 I was like, I'll bring the family with me.
Sure.
Yeah. And of course, I'm sure you're familiar with Myrtle Beach. It's where everybody in the Midwest goes to vacation.
Yes.
So my dad had one of those big jug old school cups and he had it filled with beer.
Yeah.
And my aunt was supposed to be watching me and everybody was in the ocean and I apparently decided to drink the entire thing. Yeah. And that's where my love of alcohol started. I loved it enough to chug the whole jug down, obviously. You know?
And I imagine you were quite inebriated.
You know what? I blacked out.
Really?
I think. I don't remember.
Assume.
My mom told me I did. She's like, you were bouncing off the walls. And I imagine every time she tells me that story that I literally was like the, what's the bunny rabbit?
Bugs?
Yes. Jesus. Yeah. Wow.
Too much drinking.
Too much weed.
Oh, weed. Yeah, there you go.
I imagine like Bugs Bunny, like just like bing, bing, bing off the walls. Like that's what I imagine I was at 5 years old with a gnarly hangover afterwards, I would assume. But yeah, so that's where it started.
That's how cigarettes started with me. I wasn't 5, but I had that same reaction when I was 19.
Oh, okay.
And a previous guest on this podcast, Hillary, who was my first major crush. We talked. I wrote a movie about a guy who can't tell the girl that he's crazy about her. It was entirely based on our real experience, and she played herself essentially in the movie.
What?
It was super fucking weird. Anyway, it was her. We were at like a farm party, which is so Ohio, and like a cornfield.
So Ohio.
And I'm from Columbus, so it's like, you know, I'm not even in the middle of nowhere. But you find a cornfield anywhere in Ohio.
Always you do.
But anyway, she's like, I'm bored. Let's go get cigarettes. And it was right out of a bad after-school special, you know? And I just made the wrong choice the entire way. So I bought them because she was underage. And the first one I had, I didn't cough. I didn't do anything. I was just like, oh, this is wonderful. This is heaven.
You had like an euphoric feeling.
The buzz was incredible. And I chased that buzz for 10 years until finally I quit. But anyway, so I can relate to having the opposite reaction that most people have.
To cigarette, you know?
But yours was with beer.
Alcohol, yeah. And I've still I'm still chasing that. I'm not quitting. There's no, you know, I go to the doctor. He says I'm fine.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't tell him how much I drink. He says, how much do you drink? I was like, I don't know. I just turned 30. I had a little bit. Not that I've been drunk for the last, 2.5 months or anything like that. He doesn't need details. Fine details. He doesn't need to know. He doesn't need to know. But yeah, I see, here's where this is why I continued to party, because my parents traveled.
Yeah.
My mom lived in Florida for a while, and my dad traveled all the time when I was in high school.
Were they divorced?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're from Ohio, obviously. I don't know if your parents are divorced.
No, they're not.
Lucky for you. You're one of the few.
Yeah.
Like when I was like 10. Like, you're like, I was in the age where you're like, fuck yeah, 2 Christmases. You know?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you get excited about it.
So she was in Florida and your dad was traveling everywhere?
Yeah. And so my dad had a lot of like, he had some girlfriends, but they were, they were alcoholics as well. So it worked out, in our favor that we would have parties all the time. And, starting in like, I have an older brother who would party, and then I'd kind of jump onto that bandwagon. Mm-hmm. So I started partying probably in like 8th or 9th grade.
Okay.
Like hardcore.
Okay.
Were
you the bad kid that parents would be like, you stay away from?
No. They loved me. I was like a hidden bad kid. Like I would throw the parties, but like none of the parents, they loved me. Oh,
that's
man.
great.
Yeah.
Surface level goody, and then partier underneath.
Yep. I'm like, no, we can have the sleepover at my house. That's fine. Yeah. And then they'll be like, great. And they'll be like, all right, who's getting us the alcohol? Right. Like what's happening? You know what I mean?
You tell them like, yeah, we'll go order a pizza and watch TGIF.
right. Yeah. And like, I don't know if it's a Midwest thing, but people don't care if your parents are home when you're going to a sleepover. They're not like it is on the movies where they're like, okay, make sure like Susie's dad calls me to let me know. It's not like that. They're like, okay, cool, have a good time. And because they're thinking, they get to drink while you're out of the house, obviously. That's all we do in the Midwest is drink, Actually, a lot of the women in my family don't really drink that much. I'm probably one of the only ones that really goes into it hard, My mom does.
Okay, all right.
She's got White Zinfandel pumping through her veins. That is her.
Box or bottle?
Oh, Franzia all the way. Come on now.
Absolutely. It's the classiest.
It's obviously if you don't drink wine out of a box, who are you?
My girlfriend and I were at Olive Garden the other night, and we sat at the bar because we didn't feel like waiting. Mm-hmm. But they didn't even hide it. They just had 3 box. I'm like, you could at least pretend that it's some classy wine that you're selling at 500% profit. You know, like, it was just right there.
They charge you like $10 for a glass. The box itself is $7.99.
Exactly.
Like
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't stop us from ordering something.
Oh, of course not. Of course not.
But
you know, my mom, she came to visit me for my birthday this year, obviously, because I turned 30, and she left like almost, which is crazy. She left almost a full box of Franzia, which never happens because she goes through like a box in a day.
Yeah.
And so my friends and I decided, we were drinking one night, that we were going to take just like a shot of white Zinfandel to my mom. And then like 37 shots later, we like killed the box finally. It's the taste. It's what you go for.
Absolutely.
It's so glad. We used to take it from my mom when we were young and fill it with Sprite in hopes that she wouldn't know.
Nice.
She knew.
I would imagine. Yeah, that's one of those things as a kid you think you're so coy and like clever.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a difference between Sprite and wine.
Why we thought Sprite, you know? Why
Did you get the cherry Sprite at least? So
nope. Nope. We went straight. And we were like, she's never going to know. Never. And she's like, who the hell put Sprite in my wine? I'm like, fuck. We did. Yeah. I never got grounded, though. My mom tried to ground me once. And then she came home drunk with pancakes in her purse. And she said breakfast was ready. And that was me being grounded. So... That's the upbringing I had. You know, she was a real good cook. Yeah.
I'm debating whether context or no context to where the pancakes came from would make it a better story.
I don't even know, to be honest. Her and my aunt came home one night or the morning, and they just started pulling shit out of their purse. Pancakes, bacon. Me and my cousins and my sister and brother were sleeping, and they're like, guys, we have it ready. And I'm like, what? And it's just like a smorgasbord with like lint from their purse on their stuff. I'm assuming Denny's, but I don't know.
But who's to say?
Yeah, I don't.
All right, so you're partying all the way through middle school, high school.
Yeah. So this is where this begins, is 10th grade, and my dad's gone, and so I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna throw a luau.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not gonna have a big party. It's not gonna be big. I'm thinking, 20 people max. Sure. And so this is also why I don't drink gin anymore.
Oh.
I am taking shots of, I think it's Tanqueray, which is disgusting. Shots of gin is like, that's a psychopath move right there. And I'm drinking Mike's Hard Lemonades, because that's what you did in high school.
Of course.
Or Natty Ice, or Natty Light.
Remember
but I didn't.
Parrot Bay?
Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, Parrot Bays.
I had a friend freshman year of college who was new to drinking, and he loved Parrot Bays, and we gave him so much shit for it. It was remarkable. Yeah, he loved it.
They're disgusting. Disgusting. Oh, my God. Any of that stuff. Like, why? I used to beer pong that. So, like, what kind of psychopath does that? I do. Because that's... Anyway, so we're having a good time. I'm taking shots, and a friend of mine, he was joking around with me, decided to put his foot out and pretend to trip me, but then I caught his foot and flew headfirst into my pinball machine.
Ooh.
Yeah. And for the next like 30 seconds, I blacked out. I woke up laying on my back, and I had just gotten back from New York City, and I bought one of those $3 I Love New York t-shirts, which I was obsessed with, and it was white, obviously.
Yeah. Not any longer.
No. And everybody's kind of like hovering over me, and they're like, what's going on? And I'm just kind of like, I opened my eyes. I was like, what the fuck? And I sit up, and it was just like Niagara Falls just started pouring out of the side of my head. God. And everybody just starts freaking out. And I look down, and there's a puddle on the ground of blood. And I was like, oh my God. So clearly I start freaking out. I start crying.
Right.
The person that tripped me is the only sober one that could take me to the hospital. And so we go up to the hospital, and I just like saunter in, like all like happy with like a giant towel soaked in blood on my head. And so I get back there, and the first question is, have you had any alcohol? Right. And I go, no, of course I haven't had any alcohol.
Yeah, I'm sure she bought that.
Oh no,
I'm sure you reeked
100%.
Yeah.
She was like, totally, you're sober. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't had anything.
I haven't had anything to drink.
Yeah. And in my mind, I'm probably saying it without a slur, but I'm definitely saying it with a slur to her. And so she's like, whatever. So she brings me back to a room, and I'm laying there on the table, and the doctor comes in, and he's talking to my aunt, and my aunt looks at him. She's like, you know she's drunk, right? And the doctor's like, oh, yeah. So instead of like giving you Novocaine or whatever they give you to numb the area to seal it, he's like, fuck it. And he just like sticks a needle in, and I'm like, okay. And so he pumps 8 staples into my head. No big deal. And he tells me to go like clean up. So I clean up the blood on my face, but I can't shower. I have to leave it matted in blood on the side of my head. And this is something that's a little crazy to me, is that my aunt didn't take me home. She let me go back with my friends, back to my house, back to the party.
Interesting decision.
I know.
Like this was halftime, and now you can go back to the party. All right, get back out there. Make it happen.
I was like, wait a minute. I think about this after the fact. I'm like, she didn't even be like, no, you're coming with me.
Right.
Because the doctor's like, she has a concussion. She has to wake up every 2 hours. Whatever the concussion, stuff that you have to cover is.
Yeah.
Because you could die or whatever.
Sure.
And so instead of her taking me home to take care of me, she just lets me go back with my friends. And so at this point, we're in the car and they're like, oh, we got a great plan. And I'm like, cool. What are we doing? They're like, we're going to stop by Sal's house. We're going to grab his fake police light and we're going to roll back to the party and freak everyone out. I'm like, cool. As the doctor's like, you need to go home and rest. And I'm like, no, totally.
Yeah.
And we're in the car and I'm like passing in and out of consciousness. Like, this is a great idea. We end up getting the light. We like fly down my driveway with it on. It's like going off and nobody's there. Everybody pretty much have left.
Sure. Because why wouldn't you?
Right?
When the host of a party cracks their head open and goes to the ER.
Right.
Most people aren't going to keep partying.
There was like maybe 5 people there who were like waiting, like mourning, my death, like sitting in like a corner, just like
candlelit.
Exactly. Like not knowing what to do. And I like walk in, I'm like, where's the party? And like, they just look at me, they go, no, go to bed. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I go to bed. I have like these notes written on my bed for my friends who like couldn't handle staying. So they had to leave.
Yeah.
And I woke up the next day with like a pretty gnarly hangover and headache. And, ever since then, I don't drink gin anymore.
That's good.
And I have a reminder because one extremely white hair grows out of my scar. Just one.
What?
One little white.
A little reminder.
Yeah.
Your gin hair.
Yeah, my gin hair. Yeah, it is my gin hair.
So that could have been a moment where you're like, I should just stop drinking. And in fact, I'll stop drinking gin.
Yeah. I hurt myself all the time while I drink though. It's almost like I'm ready for it. I should go out in a bubble when I drink because I always end up hurting myself. I twist an ankle. I can't get out of limo buses without spraining an ankle. That's for sure. Yeah.
That's very specific.
Yeah. Well,
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you learned that about yourself.
Yeah. That's why regular limos are great. It's a lot, shorter of a fall. Limo buses higher. You tend to trip.
Do you just require them to use the handicap exit?
Yeah. I just wait until and then they let me walk off. And I usually still trip, but then I only hurt my knees,
right.
And not my ankles. I'm like prone to injury. I've had open heart surgery.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Not from drinking. Just when I was 3. So we're like very used to hurting ourselves.
What happened? Why'd you have open heart surgery?
I had vesicular septal defect.
Okay.
I only learned that full thing recently because I've been told 1,000 times and I just forget.
Right.
But most kids in our era were born with holes in their hearts that would just heal on their own. Uh-huh. And I was born with 3. One of them didn't heal, and it was in between my 2 lower valves. Mm-hmm. And so I had to go in, crack it all open, get a stitch put in. And I wasn't supposed to, I found this out later in life, I wasn't even supposed to do sports.
Right.
Clearly my parents were, they didn't give a shit. They're like, yeah, go ahead. T-ball from the start all the way up. Like, yeah, it's fine. Your heart could explode. It's no big deal. We're good. And it didn't, thank God. But
I would assume not.
Yeah, I didn't learn any of this until I was an adult. And I was like, you guys, the doctor was like, you shouldn't have even been that active. And I'm over here playing sports and getting drunk and all this stuff. And so I figure I've survived this long. I'm probably pretty good now.
Do you have to go to get checkups or anything?
Yeah, like every 5 years.
Yeah.
And I go in and I just have old doctors fondle my boobs half the time because that's what they do. because they're like, oh, just trying to get a heartbeat.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, your heart is under your, what is it, your left boob, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've had a lot of old men up in this area.
In the chesticle region.
And at this point, I'm just like, whatever. I just kind of lay free, ready to go.
What are you gonna,
It's the most action I usually see in a while, so I'm kind of okay with it.
So it worked out okay.
Yeah.
Your
5 years, I guess.
Life-threatening heart condition worked out okay.
No big deal. But as far as I know, it's fine. Every time I go, they're like, well, we hear a small leak, but it's probably fine. I'm like, cool. I'm glad it's probably fine. I feel probably fine too.
So would you say that booze has had a major impact on your love life in general?
It's helped.
Yeah.
It gives me confidence. I definitely have liquid courage when I drink.
Yeah.
And I think I'm like unstoppable. I also think I'm a great dancer when I drink, which that's I thank God I don't remember any of that, but I've heard stories.
Yeah.
For some reason I tend to like I pick that guy out of the crowd. I tend to move the crowd and make my own dance circle. But yeah, I and then I think I have more fun. I can have fun sober, but it's then you get in your head and shit.
Right.
It's just easier.
What's in your head when you're sober?
You're like, oh, do they like me? Are they, like you were saying, are you checking somebody else out? Am I not good enough? Like, oh my God, wait until they want to see me naked. Like, I'm embarrassed, whatever. When you're drunk, you're like, I don't give a shit. I'm a model. Like, I'm ready to go. My body's the best. My personality's the best. You just have all the confidence in the world.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you like your coffee like you like your men black. Has that always been the case? Where did that come from?
So I'm not only into black dudes. I'm a thick white chick. So that's what, where they're attracted to me. So I take what I can get at this point. And I've learned that not all black dudes have very large penises. And it's a disappointment because you go into it thinking you don't have to worry, like you're set. It's like meeting an Italian guy with a small wiener. Like if it happens, you're like, what is this? And it's happened to me. It's happened to me twice already, which is unfortunate. And the funniest, I don't know if this is ironic or what, but both of these times, these two particular people were also comedians.
Okay.
And I never want to date a comedian because it's like dating the same person. You don't want to do that.
Egos and
because it's always like you're on,
Right.
And I don't
Everything's
want
a bit and
and I already put them in mind, so it's like
Yeah.
And so the first guy that I found this out, I was completely obviously drunk, like blacked out. And I was at a bar and I was with a friend of mine and we were like, we're finding guys to go home with tonight. That's what we're doing.
Right.
And so I just looked at this one guy and I pointed him out and I said, you're coming home with me. I'm assuming he's drunk too, right? So I'm like, cool, this is going to be fun. Get home, do the thing. I'm like, whatever. And come to find out he's completely sober. Like, he's like, I don't drink at all. And I was like, oh my God, I put My House on from Flo Rida.
Yeah.
So it would drown out any sounds because my sister was home and found out that he was sober. That was...
Heather, you really got to stop picking up guys at retirement home bingo nights. You just, he's probably drunk too.
I know, I just drive around. I'm just like...
So he was sober.
He was completely
When did you realize that?
When he told me when I was taking him home in the early morning.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
And I was all like, you're drunk, we're drunk. And he's like, no, actually, I don't drink. And I was like, whoa. And then no wonder he didn't want to hook up after that because he clearly could tell, like, I was an alcoholic, functioning alcoholic. Yeah. But yeah, his wiener was not very big and I was very disappointed. But I kind of, I forgot about it because it was a quick thing. And so then this most recent guy, I kind of been blowing this guy off for a while because, I don't know, I'm a shallow bitch sometimes. And so I was just like, and then one night, of course, I was drinking.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, let's just see what he's doing. So we meet up at this bar in North Hollywood. And as soon as he gets there, he's so boring. And I'm just like, what? He doesn't want to, like, talk. He's just, like, sitting there and just like having a beer, and I'm just
he doesn't want to talk. What's he doing then?
He's just
staring at you?
I'm having to hold. I'm like talking to myself. Yeah, pretty much. I'm just like da-da-da-da-da, and he just would be like, yeah, and I'm like, cool. And so I'm already a little drunk, and so this guy walks up to the other side of me. So I just turn my body and start talking to this other guy.
Yeah.
He ends up buying me a beer. We end up having a great time. I get his number in front of this other guy, and he
And
still
this is a guy
nothing.
who was interested in you, right?
Yes.
Like, okay, because that's what makes this odd.
I know.
It's
And
not
he's
like-
been trying to pursue me for years. We went on one date one time and nothing happened. And then he'd been trying to pursue me. And so I'm drunk enough to where I'm like, I kind of feel like I owe him, you know?
Yeah.
Because I've like put it on for this long. So I was like, because he's like, so are we going back to your house? And I was like, fuck. So we go back to my house, and because he's a bigger guy. He's not tall, but he's like a bigger guy. So I'm like, he's probably packing, right? Like he's got to be. And we get back to my house, and he doesn't have any game at all. He has no game. And I'm just like, okay. So I essentially take off his pants, and I'm just like, what the fuck is that? What is it's I've seen a lot of peni
Yes.
in my day, and this was the smallest one, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I was like, there's no physical way that we could even have sex because I don't think it would work. And so I just I did the BJ thing, and literally it took maybe less than a minute.
Yeah. Well, then that was nice. So you didn't have to put in a lot of work.
Yeah, but I kind of like to put in a little work,
well, there you go.
I know. I don't know if it's most women, but some women, like that. And I like that. And I was just like, okay, wow, this is quick.
Yeah.
And so I thought maybe, and I, like I said, I was drunk. So I'm just like revving to go all night. And this happens. And he's like, okay. And then I was like, well, what about me? And then he doesn't know how to do anything to help me out. And so I'm like trying to work it back up to be like, let's have sex now, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, let's just like cuddle. And I was like, who the fuck are you? I was like, no. I was like, you can go.
Yeah.
I was just like, so I put him into my stand-up bit now because most men don't know how to properly foreplay a girl anyway. Yeah. But it was terrible. It was like he had a jackhammer as a hand, and he thought that was like what was working. And I was just like, no, not at all.
Yeah.
You need to leave. I'm good. Goodbye. And the funniest part of that whole story is that the last stand-up show I had, he was on it. And I did that joke.
Yeah. How'd that go?
I don't know. I ran out of the room and I just left. I was like, I don't want to see him. I don't want to have to cross paths with him right now. Like, right. I just want to get out of there.
Yeah.
Because if he finds out that it was him, he's probably going to be pretty embarrassed. I don't name names, obviously, because I don't want to.
Yeah, you're not.
I don't remember
asshole.
the one guy's name, but this guy, I do remember his name, and I'm not going to. But, I was just like, it's such a. I'm like, do I need to move on from black guys now? Because I've been disappointed so much. Do I just,
What did you decide?
I haven't yet. I mean, I'm trying to expand my horizons on races anyway. I want to dabble into Asian, but you're just asking for a small wiener in that one,
Yeah. I mean, it is a generalization.
It is.
But is it there for a reason? I don't know.
Well,
I truthfully don't know.
I've been disappointed by the ones that I thought were well endowed, so why not?
Maybe flip it.
I've been on a lot of dating apps lately to try some different stuff. Dating in LA is congratulations to not have to worry about that anymore.
Thank you.
I don't know how to date in LA.
Yeah, it was awful when I was doing it. Everyone in LA is just, when I would try and pick somebody up at a bar, you could always just feel when they were looking past you to see if there was somebody more interesting they should be talking to.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that applies for dating apps, too, where they're just like, all right. Everyone's just waiting for this big thing instead of just being in the moment and being like, oh, maybe I'd have a nice time with this person.
Right.
Yeah.
But
they're just like, oh, well, I don't like this part or that part or whatever about them. Whatever. It's just very judgmental.
Well, I feel like men, you guys kind of have the upper hand in the dating. As far as what I've discovered with the dating app, I'm like all about wanting to go out and meet these people and have a good time. But every time I talk to somebody on there, it's like, yeah, let's go out. But like, do you want to just come over and like fuck first? And I'm like,
right.
Come on.
Come on. Yeah.
Treat me like a prostitute at least. Take me out first and buy things for me before.
Right.
I just, I don't want to just, I feel that's uncomfortable to just come over to your house and be like, hey, so we're doing this or.
Right.
No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, because it's very transactional.
Yeah, I want to go out. I want to know that I'm not going to get, kidnapped and raped first.
Yes. Spend a bit of time with the person outside of their apartment before going back to the apartment.
That's all I ask. It's simple.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. I'm not saying I'm not going to hook up with you that night. I'm just saying, take me out first.
Right.
You don't even have to buy. Let's just
split. We can go.
Yeah, we can Dutch it. I don't care. I'm not worried about that, but I just want to go out first and be like, oh, how are you with interacting with other people? Because if this goes anywhere, my friends are very valuable to me. I need to make sure that you can get along with them.
Right.
Because that's a game ender for me. If you
definitely.
Don't, out.
Right.
So, yeah, it's funny because you're right. You'll have these conversations on there, and it's like, oh, I think this is happening. I had this happen to me just recently. This guy was like, he was so into. He was like, hey. We didn't talk about anything about sex for like the first couple days. And he's like, yeah, I want to cook for you, all this stuff. Great. He's like, I'm going to school for something or other. And I was like, cool. And then all of a sudden I was like, we kind of set up like a time to go meet. And then that same day he was like, so just started getting into the sexual part of it. And I'm like, come on, man.
Wait to do that in person at least.
And then so because I didn't reciprocate back to him, I hit him up the next day and I was like, hey, so you over it? And he's just like, you're weird. You're different. I don't know who you are anymore. I was like, you don't know who I am to begin with. What do you mean I'm different?
I don't know who you are anymore.
Yeah.
This sounds like the adult version of a summer camp romance where each day feels like a week. You don't know who I am anymore. It's been 5 days.
But I got a dick pic from him, so.
Oh, well, you knew that much about him.
Yeah, well, I'm very good at getting dick pics. You have to know how to maneuver the right way. I have a collection of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's not like it's
And it's not a put off?
Oh, no. Well, just send me a dick pic before we hook up. That's going to tell me a lot about you right there. I'm going to be like, okay, well, if he's terrible, I'll just figure out how to do it on my own with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, no, not a turn off at all. Send dick pics, send them all to me. I'll check them all out for you.
Would you say you're in the minority of welcoming dick pics? From a female perspective? No?
No. I think I'm in the minority of wanting dick pics for more than a comedic standpoint.
Right.
I mean, I do like him for a comedic standpoint, but I use him for research more or less. But I think some women like it for more of a comedic standpoint.
Sure.
But obviously, it's also, don't just send it, be like, hey, and then here's my dick.
Yeah.
Wait for the woman to kind of tiptoe into that area and be like, hey, so you send one, I'll send one type of thing.
Sure.
So
do you prompt this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Because in my head, the first comment is just a dick pic. And you're like, ooh, tell me more. What a romantic gesture.
I don't know how I would feel. I'd probably still be open to it, but I feel like most women would be like, I'm a feminist. I am a feminist, but I'm not a psychotic feminist where you're like, a dick that's meat and I'm not going to eat it. So I'm just like, yeah, fuck it. Send me a dick pic. I don't care. I think, but other women, they might be a little offended. But you got to think about it a different way. You got to think about it like he's helping you out.
Right.
What if it's not what you like? What if you like small dicks and it's huge and you're like, good thing I didn't pursue anything.
In a way, it's just cutting through the bullshit.
Right.
Because if you're on a dating app, more than likely, well, obviously you're single.
Right.
Or you're just an asshole and trying to cheat.
Yeah.
But either way, you're probably looking to have sex.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
I can see that. I mean, it makes sense to me. I just thought that was a huge turnoff. So I'm learning quite a bit.
No, I don't think so. I think if the conversation is in that area and if you're, I think if the woman kind of gives you a subtle hint, obviously, if you're feeling a little weary about it, be like, do you want to check it out?
Right. Yeah.
I think most men who are scared to send them probably are a little embarrassed of what they've got going on.
Sure.
So that's also a telltale sign that,
yeah,
probably move on.
Right.
Yeah, but the ones that send them, I'm like, okay, all right, we can work with that. And then the thing is, though, is for a woman, we don't have to necessarily worry about our performance. as much as you guys do.
Right. It's really, the pressure's on the guy.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think,
It is.
you know?
I don't have to, like, my boobs don't have to stand at attention.
No.
You know, they could just be there.
Yeah.
But if you're, you know, if you can't get that guy going.
Right. It's a non-starter.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's, you know, I get it. But,
Right.
you know, men in LA just need to get out of their own heads, I think, and not think that they are all the shit. But men have it so much easier in the sense of you could be a dorky, awesome, like great personality guy, and any girl's going to go for you. They're going to go for you. They're going to be like, he's cute, he's funny, I like it. But if you're that in a girl, no dude's going to be like, oh yeah, she's cute, she's funny, but like, I don't know, that girl over there with like size triple D boobs and like a fake ass, I'm going to go for that instead.
I would argue that applies to men too, because girls are looking for in LA because what you described is nothing looks wise, and if you're out at the bar, I think everyone's looking for looks.
Yes.
This is as somebody who does not have the looks, and you know, I would be talking to plenty of girls, and you know, the conversation would be going nicely, and then they'd just leave. Like literally multiple times went beeline straight to a guy with a chiseled jaw. So I think it depends on the context of how you're meeting. If you're meeting at a bar, charming and funny and a personality.
But you know what? You're going to be the girl that they think about when that douchebag screws them over.
Right.
So you got that working for you.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't help you the night of when you go home by yourself and go to Carl's Jr.
The end game, though, you know, right?
Yeah, but then he didn't ask for your number anyway, so there's no way.
So they can't get a hold of you.
So yeah, 4 hours later, when they realize this shockingly, the vapid, nice-looking guy is an ass, my ears just tingle a little bit. Oh, they're thinking of me. That's enough.
You like flutter down, and you're like, I'm back.
Yeah, that's enough to wipe my tears. Yeah, she's thinking about me in a fond way.
I guess you're right. I mean, yeah. I mean,
it's hard for everybody.
It is.
That's really what it is.
It's just a shitty situation.
Yeah.
Dating is just, you know, nobody meets in bars anymore, so I guess you have that working for you. That's the best part of working in a restaurant is I get to see so many like online first dates.
Oh yeah, that's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure you're pretty good at picking up the body language.
Oh, yeah.
Just like who's more nervous.
Yeah.
You know, are they going to bone?
Right.
You know, you pick up on all that.
You can tell by how much they're going to drink that.
Right.
Know? Yeah. I've had this one woman who like brings multiple dates in to the same restaurant, which is insane. Yeah. Why would you do that? And she brought this one gentleman in, and I had just seen her a few days before with another guy, and it didn't work out well, obviously, with either of them. But the second guy that she was there with, she like took off, and he came up to me, and he's like, because I had said hi to her, like I remembered her, and he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, what did you mean by like you saw her the other day?" And I was just like, "Yo, bro, she was here with another dude." And he's like, "Yeah, she was so rude. It's my birthday, all this stuff." And I was like, "Maybe don't meet on an app then." Okay.
Don't meet on an app, and don't choose your birthday to go on a blind date.
And don't go to fucking BJ's for your date. Like, mistake number one.
Right. Yeah.
Anybody who brings their date into a BJ's for the first date, you're asking for a bad relationship.
I admire how comfortable you are with yourself.
Oh, thank you.
I think that's not backhanded or anything. I think it's really cool.
Thanks.
That you're down to talk about whatever.
Well,
I think that kind of comes in the territory of being a performer, specifically a stand-up, where it's just like, I'm going to talk about all my dumb neuroses, all my fear, like the crazy shit I've been through. Please listen.
Right.
You know.
Right.
It's a good quality to have in our line of work.
Thank you. Well, yeah. I'm let's hope it takes off for us, right?
Yeah, right.
Otherwise, just people are going to look at us like we're a bunch of batshit crazy people.
Yeah, which, you know.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
If it gets me money, I'll take it.
Well, Heather, this podcast does not endorse drinking. And this is not an advertisement to go out and have a beer, viewer, listener. I'm glad that you found what works for you.
Hey, you know.
And look, it can be a good time.
I'm a good time. If you ever want to drink with me, I'm a good time. I have a lot of fun. So just, you know.
Well, yeah. Well, hopefully you're not getting any sense of judgment from me about your partying ways or anything.
No, not
good, because I'm not trying to come off as holier than thou or anything. It's just that my drinking really has stopped almost.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of my girlfriend, because I used to drink a considerable amount. And she's not sober or anything. In fact, she's more likely than I am to grab a drink if we go to dinner or something.
Yeah.
But there was just a night where when we first started dating, we went up to Big Bear for like a weekend. And, we both drank a lot and got pretty sloppy. And I was definitely more drunk than she was. And she had to help me up the stairs. And needless to say, my equipment didn't work.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just like a switch flipped. And I was just like, I just don't want to be this way around her.
Yeah.
And so now I just like hardly ever, and I'm still a person, if I go out and meet with friends, I'll tell myself I'm going to have a beer and then I have 6.
Right. Of course.
Yeah. So it's just interesting to hear your perspective because it's been several years since I've been in that mode.
Yeah, well, I mean, like we were saying, you absorb the lifestyle of the person I think that you're dating, and I think it worked out that you met somebody that doesn't drink as much as you did, to where it kind of helped you tone it down. I have yet to meet that person. I feel like even when I meet that person, I probably won't tone it down until they're like, look, I need you to like Monday through like Wednesday, just don't have a drink.
Yeah.
But I think once you meet that, you do tone it down, or you end up, drinking with each other a little bit less or whatever, because you don't need to.
Right. Exactly. In my case, at least, I was going out because I didn't want to go home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
so you're going out to have a good time, to party, to meet somebody, and you need that liquid courage.
Yeah.
And I think, once you find that person, then having a good time is just staying at home.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, so I think that's a valid point. It really is just about like lifestyles and where you're at in your life.
Oh yeah, of course.
And so I think that can change, and
it's probably why I'm still at this point, because I haven't changed my lifestyle, but whatevs.
Yeah.
It's giving me good material.
Right.
It's research. I drink for research. That's what I figured it out. Mm-hmm. That's it. Drink for research.
Are you ready to not be single?
I think I'm getting there, yeah. I always used to tell myself, well, I'm very much like, I want my career to get going, and that's my main focus. And I always thought to myself, like, I can't have both. Like, I need to focus on my career. I can't focus on trying to date. But weirdly enough, turning 30 is where I kind of was like, you know what? I kind of do want somebody to sort of settle down with. I don't need to jump right into like a serious relationship.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I'm very happy with like my personal time and doing whatever I want. And,
right.
But I think I'm definitely looking now. I definitely want to find somebody, to go do fun, especially because I'm the only single one in my friend group right now, pretty much.
Oh yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, and
it can be.
Oh, it is super rough. And I love all of my friends' boyfriends.
That's
like
good.
they're close friends of mine as well, so
Right.
it works out. But you can't help but feel like the third, fifth, or eighth wheel
Right.
and all of the.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I feel bad for them because we talk about going on trips, and I'm just like, cool, I'll just be that one.
Right.
The single bedroom is for me. So yeah, and I mean, not only because of them, but because of myself. I think I'm ready to lock it in with someone.
I think the rest of the country outside of LA, I'll speak generally. I think this is true based on my experience with my friends in Ohio.
Oh yeah.
I think what we're describing, because I think it happens, late 20s, 30s, like you're at now, that realization.
Yeah.
I think, in Ohio, that happened within a year after college.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's just because we're all out here, we're inherently selfish because we're chasing our dreams.
Right.
Our college years basically go through our whole 20s.
Yeah.
I think that was also my big problem dating here, is because that was the answer I would get a lot. I'm just
Right.
focused on my career. And I think as you get older, you realize, these don't have to be, you can do both.
Right.
Yeah. As long as it's with somebody who's not smothering and, that kind of
Exactly.
stuff. If they understand what you're trying to do.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with doing your stand-up set and then coming home to somebody that you're happy to be with.
Yeah. I know. And you know what's funny is I'm so happy though that I am not like the people back home in Ohio. Like, granted, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I feel like every time I either talk or conversate or, go even back home, I just feel like everybody's so depressed because they didn't get to chase anything. But
Right.
like that Midwest lifestyle of you get out of college, you get a job, you have a family, and that's it. And
Right.
so I wouldn't change it, but I definitely am feeling the need for I just want to have somebody who wants to, know about my day every day.
Right.
And that kind of,
Exactly.
just the the nice little things.
Right.
Instead of having to bombard my friends and being like, why haven't you texted me today? They're like, oh, because you have your own life. No, that's cool. But I'll just drink a beer then.
Right.
Alcohol has become my relationship.
Sure.
Oh my God. Am I in AA right now?
People come out of the closet,
Right.
like,
hi, my
this
name's
is an
Heather and I'm an
intervention.
alcoholic. I only drink sometimes, but every day almost. That didn't make any sense. No, I like to say alcoholic in a generalization. I'm not, because I still live my life, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's a nice cushion right now.
Yeah.
When you get drunk, you swipe a lot on the internet, so
Yeah.
somebody's got to land one of these days. But,
Yeah.
So that's my hopes and dreams right now. That's the end.
That's good.
That's what I'm looking for.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me.
That was the episode. As I said towards the end, I respect Heather for being so open and honest about her opinions and experiences, and just like me, we're not afraid to kind of be open and raw about our crazy lives. I'd be remiss if I didn't just touch on the fact that obviously I view alcoholism as a serious illness that not only affects the addict, but also the families of the addict. As someone who has several family members that have dealt with alcoholism, I know that it's not a funny topic, but this show has always been about trying to laugh at our demons or our faults, and not to say that Heather is an alcoholic or whatever. This is obviously a tricky topic for me to address. And we certainly weren't trying to make light of alcoholism in general, just Heather's desire to drink regularly. Check out badtimesgoodstoriespod.com for past episodes, merch, and Patreon. And email me at badtimesgoodstoriespodcast@gmail.com. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. I will be back next Wednesday. And until next Wednesday, keep laughing.